Yo, what up, son? It's your biggest fan, your dad. I would love to see you draw that Piccolo for me. Think that'll look good in the front room. Or better yet, maybe in the shop. Appreciate you.
I'm ready when you are.
All right, everybody settle in because today we have a very special request from my padre himself. I know you're watching this because I sent it to you. And today is June 21st, so happy Father's Day. This is your gift this year, your very own request on the channel. Since my first video, you asked me to draw Piccolo for you, and I told you you'd have to wait in line because, you know, there are some other people that had requests before you, but since it is your day, I'll let you skip the line just this once. Also, I figure this is probably better than like a mug or like another card, so hope you enjoy. Now, let's talk today's drawing subject. Today, we are drawing the one and only Mr. Piccolo. Piccolo is one of the coldest characters in all of Dragon Ball Z. I think as a young kid, I didn't really appreciate him as much as I should have because you're being distracted by people like Goku and these super powerful transforming aliens with spiky blonde hair, right? In the midst of that, there's this big green 7-foot cape wearing alien guy who's bald and got antennas, and everybody thinks he's black. Everybody collectively agrees he's black, even though he's quite literally green, but he one of us. We claim, bro. I have a lot of respect for this character, and fun fact, it's also Akira Toriyama's favorite character from the series, so yeah. The creator of the show has been trying to tell us how cool he is from the get-go, but for some reason, the internet is only just now realizing how cool this guy is, and he's basically the mascot for the term aura, or looking cool, you know, having a cool vibe to you or whatever. I feel like this is a very fitting Father's Day gift because Piccolo, out of all the other male characters in the show, is probably the character that gives off the most fatherly vibes. Like, he just has this father-like energy and attitude. Also that he is notorious for guiding and kind of babysitting and almost raising everybody else's kids in the show, even though he himself has not. Piccolo was such a father figure to another character in the show named Gohan, if you don't know.
Mr. Piccolo!
You know, in some ways, Piccolo almost reminds me of my father at times, you know, with his tough love style of raising and almost hyper masculine attitude and depiction. And he's bald. My dad's bald. But, you know, besides that, Piccolo is he's just always been one of the coldest characters. I think it took me growing up to realize just how cool this guy really is. I'm drawing him using one of his most, if not his most, iconic attack, the Special Beam Cannon. An attack so powerful it can damn near one-shot any enemy in the show and is commonly shown piercing directly through the body of his targets. Let's start with, got some yellow down there for the highlights. I'm going to start with this bright green skin. Okay. It's one of my favorite attacks from the show, so I figured if I was going to draw this guy, I figured it'd be of him using that attack, his signature move. I know it's a lot going on right here, but just keep watching. I promise it will all come together. I hope. Really hope my dad likes this gift for Father's Day. I'm sure he will. This was his request. But back on, speaking of Father's Day, let's hop back on the importance of fathers themselves. Fathers are very easily overshadowed by mothers for obvious reasons, you know. But even with that being said, they are still very important in the development of a child's life and the way they think. Fathers teach us things like discipline, leadership, and how to maintain your emotions and how to respect not only yourself, but even others, and especially those of the opposite sex, you know. A good father would teach you that, how to respect a woman. I unfortunately did not grow up with my father. You know, him and my mother split before I could even remember it. But with that being said, he was still there. He was always there. I've always had access to my father. He's never not wanted to be in my life, you know. Unfortunately, it's pretty common for things to just not work out between parents, but it's important to realize to any young child going through the separation of their parents that it is not your fault. It is also ultimately not our decision for our parents to be together, but know that they both still simultaneously love you. But anyway, my father was always there. He's a very different man than today as is versus what he was for me growing up. I am the oldest and first child, so I of course got a very different version of my father than what my younger siblings got. To put it lightly, I got God of War 1, 2, 3 young Kratos, and my little brother and little sister got chill old bald guy with beard who appears in the latest trilogy of God of War games. Yeah, it's a pretty big difference. Some of the ways my dad would teach me things back then, he'd go about them pretty differently with, you know, my younger siblings. But you know, I wouldn't change a thing. And you know, just to celebrate him for today, I would like to go over one of the first lessons I can ever remember my father teaching me that has really shaped my life. He probably doesn't even remember this moment, you know, but I've never forgotten, and it stuck with me and shaped the man that I am today. So back to God of War. As a kid, as you know, or those who watch the channel know, I am a big fan of video games, and God of War was one of my very first video games ever on the PlayStation 2. It was a big favorite of my dad's at the time, and still one of his favorite franchises to this day. He's just a little too busy to play video games these days, so my little brother has taken over that for the both of us, as I've gotten into drawing. Not as big of a gamer as I used to be. But the point stands, when my dad had got his brand new PlayStation 3, one of the things we were both excited to see was the brand new God of War 3. My dad would play and he would do his thing and I would watch. You know, it's a pretty graphic game. A kid my age shouldn't have been playing that. I was probably around maybe 7 or 8 years old. Not very old at all. Not old enough, right? He eventually ends up passing the control to me and letting me play because he knows I'm also interested in God of War and also the franchise. And as I'm playing, you know, there's tons of puzzles and button mashing and things that are usually more difficult for a 7-year-old to play in a video game. So he's there watching me play, and I find myself asking, "Hey, Dad, I get stuck on this part? Can you help me, please? Like, can you help me get me past this part? Like, passing him the controller." My dad looks at me and simply says, "No, figure it out." And you know, at first, I'm thinking in my head, like, what the hell, bro? Like, help me, please, bro, help. But I'm thinking maybe he was probably a meanie pants, you know, something, what's a 7-year-old insult? I don't know. I'm thinking he was mean for not helping me, but he didn't leave the room and just abandon me. No, he stayed and watched me play. He stayed and watched me struggle and struggle and struggle over and over and over and over again until eventually your boy got it. That part that I had been struggling with, that part that I just couldn't seem to do on my own. He sat there and watched me until I eventually got it. And it might have took me a while, but I did it. Eventually something clicked in my head and I was able to figure it out on my own, all by myself, by using my critical thinking skills, you know, at that young age. I don't even remember the puzzle. I just remember the general act. And I just remember completing that level and him being like, "Look, I told you could do it. I told you could figure it out. You didn't even need my help. All you have to do is try." And from that point on, every single time I had like some difficult thing in the game, I'd ask him for help and he'd tell me the same thing, figure it out. And I used to get mad at that. But what it did was build this independence and, like I said, cognitive thinking skills till I get to the point where it's affected my entire life. I got to a point in school where there'd be group projects and the teachers like pair up, and I don't want to pair up. I want to figure it out on my own. I want to do it on my own because I can. But I'm a very independent, self-sufficient person and I'm pretty good at figuring things out. And I think that realization about myself and development of like that skill specifically comes from my father challenging myself to, instead of catching the fish for me, I guess giving me the tools I needed in order to realize that I already knew how to fish. Or, well, I guess that's probably a wrong analogy to use. Either way, the nigga helped me realize that I could just be patient with myself and figure things out on my own, you know? And I'm really grateful for that. I don't know if I ever told him thank you for that. So if you're watching, yo, Dad, I appreciate you because it's been super helpful in my life that I've been able to, quote unquote, figure it out. Especially with my art career, you know, nobody tells you how to do this. No one at all. But I mean, that's just life in general. My dad is no perfect man. He is not the perfect father, but I mean, who really is and who really gets to decide that? And also, I'm not a perfect son. I'm sure there are thousands of ways that I could be a better son. But the thing about it is that he's my father and I'm his son. And there's nothing more important than that. If you're fortunate enough to have your father in your life, let him know that you appreciate him. Tell him I love you. Tell him you love him. And even if you don't have your biological father in your life, there's gotta be some influential male figure that has helped you throughout your life in some way or guided you. To that person, you appreciate them, because fathers are definitely important figures in the development of a child's mind. They are necessary. Anyway, yo, Dad, this one's for you, Mr. Piccolo. I got some pretty good progress just now. I am going to finish up, and when I come back, we should have a pretty cool drawing. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Love you, man.
see you stop this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, just like that, our drawing session has come to a conclusion and we now have another new drawing on the channel. Welcome, Mr. Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z.
I'm afraid I won't go down that easily.
AKA my father's Father's Day gift and his request. I really like the pose that I went for and the whole charging up of his attack thing. I was gonna originally color the charging attack itself, but I felt like the stark contrast of just a plain white with all that color looked more powerful in my opinion. But that's just me. This one wasn't done on my usual cardstock paper, so that's why the texture looks a bit different. But I don't think it came out too bad, and I hope my dad likes it as his gift. Like I said, I think it's a little bit better than another coffee mug or some card, even though he keeps all his cards. But that's going to be it for today's video. And yeah, if you have a father in your life or some sort of male figure that has helped support and guide you through your life as you've developed, I think today is a really great day to let them know that you appreciate them and that you see them, you know, because sometimes it's just nice to hear it. You are important and we need you, young men and young women. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of your hair. Go enjoy your family. Have a nice day. I have been Yates the Art Hero. And if you remember anything from today's video, please remember that art is for everyone. Deuces.